Hi, it's Croft here from successfultrainers.com, helping people to get started with their training businesses. And a question I often get asked is, I don't know what my USP is. How do I work out what my USP is, my unique selling proposition? There's nothing unique about me. And I would say, don't worry too much about USP. I don't think you need a USP. So if you think about successful plumbers, who do you get in if you have a plumbing problem and you just want to find a plumber who's reliable and good? That's all you want. You don't need to have a unique plumber, do you? You just want a good one. And I think with training, it's the same. So I think probably my best point is probably just that I'm reliable. If I say I'll be there, I'll be there. I've never cancelled a training course. I've never been late for a training course in 20 years. And maybe that makes me almost unique, but it's not really a USP, is it? Just being reliable. And then I think it's important to have a mix that works for the customer, to be pretty good at all the key things. So I would say that probably my courses are more practical than average. I think they're probably more fun than average. I do have a bit of a sense of humour. I think I'm probably reasonably affordable. I wouldn't claim to be in the bottom half on price. I'm probably more expensive than the average, but I'm not ridiculously expensive. And then the other thing that's perhaps unusual about me is the variety of subjects that I cover, which does mean that I can design a course according to whatever it is that you need. And if you like me and you want something else to be done, I can probably do it for you. And that makes it simple and easy. You've got someone you trust, you can get in to do pretty much every subject. But none of that is really a USP. Just to be pretty practical, pretty fun, not too expensive, have a range of subjects. And even that one, you don't need to have a variety of subjects. I think reliability is the one thing you've got to have. But what I'm really saying is you don't have to be unique and different to every other trainer. You've just got to have nothing wrong with you. So if there's nothing wrong, then you will be hired again. So if you look at this in graph format, you could say that I'm perhaps within the acceptable range of amusingness on the training I do. Maybe I'm at the high end of sense of humour. Maybe I'm at the lower end of being an expert on my subjects. And maybe I'm really practical in the way I do my training. And as long as everything's in the acceptable range, that's fine. You don't have to be the funniest person ever, or the ultimate expert on a subject, or the most practical person ever. These would be USPs, and they're very hard to establish in a field that's got so many practitioners. So we don't have to worry about those. The main thing is to not be below the acceptable limit. So imagine if you were a real expert, very practical, but you were just utterly dull, then that would be a problem. Or imagine if you were hilarious, but you just didn't know what you were talking about at all. So the main thing is we don't want to stray down into the area below the lower limit of acceptability. Providing you're okay, you may not be very funny, but as long as you're know a bit about it and you're practical, that's going to be fine. But you just mustn't be so dull that people don't enjoy your training. And you may be very expert, or you might be just know a little bit, but as long as you don't stray into just knowing nothing, then that's going to be a problem. And practicality, which was another factor I chose, I've just picked three things. You might be very practical or just fairly practical, and that's fine. You can be fairly practical, providing you know about what you're talking about and you're quite fun. You don't have to be the most practical person in the world. You don't need a USP. Just don't stray into the area where it becomes a problem. So don't beat yourself up about having a USP. I guess if you could think of one, that would be great, but I think it's difficult. So going back to that plumber example, what would a plumber have as a USP? Oh, he's the one who wears an orange outfit or something. I suppose it might make you a bit more memorable, but it wouldn't make you any better at actually being a plumber. So I sometimes think people remember me because I've got blonde hair, because my mother's Norwegian. Maybe it's that. Maybe that's why people remember me. But I think in the end, they don't care what colour your hair is. What they want is someone reliable who's always going to turn up and who's not going to have anything wrong with them. So don't beat yourself up about not having a USP. And if you want to know more about your strategy as a trainer, contact me on successfultrainers.com. Maybe I can help you.